We're on live. It's Friday night. I feel like doing jazz hands.
Sorry I couldn't join you last week, but it's nice to be back.
What happened last week, Danica, right?
Oh, well, yeah, she just, it was probably best that I just hung out with her last week. So, welcome. Nice to have everybody back here. We've got a dog that's running around circles behind us.
Oh, look at Where is he? Can you see him? That's the entertainment for tonight.
That's as good as it gets.
He just had a good poo.
Okay.
I'm serious. He just had a good poo. So he's excited about it, and it's a celebration.
He's happy to be here.
Because what did you used to call it? Every evening's a celebration. I used to have this thing. Oh, that's just your ad. I'll do it for you. Oh, I got to put that down.
Awesome.
Oh, Fraser J.
Wow, guys. Love having this new Friday chat setting. John's shirt looks even more colorful and hard to recognize without the Genesis t-shirt. Ha ha.
I know. Everyone thinks I have two t-shirts. The Beatles, Genesis.
Melody, hi Melody.
Hey Melody, she friended me on
Saskatchewan.
Facebook.
Hi, nice to have you here with us.
Nice to be on here today. We're starting to do a lot of things, topical things. We were going to do a topical thing tonight. We thought, well, kind of on Friday night, we kind of leave it open for you to talk about anything you want.
But what's been really nice is that you've been hopping on live almost every night this past week with any news that has come up or just people's opinions in general. And that's been a really
topical things. Like this week we covered what album disappointed you, and then someone suggested, and sorry I forget who it was, we talk to so many people every night, about guilty pleasures in music. And I was interviewing a gentleman today, and he said, "Oh, what a great topic!" And it's been a good week of interviews. We still got Felix Cavallari coming up. Second interview with him. Third interview with Mark Farner of Grand Funk, formerly of Grand Funk. And you're going to get rid of all those? We don't really need them, I guess. Leave that one on there. Leave that one on there because you know why? Because we can do this.
Oh, zoom in.
There's the dog. Look at the dog.
Yeah, but it looks so pixelated now.
Oh, I know. Back up. Don't get all crazy. Okay. That's the only thing really on Restream that I know how to do. That's pretty sad. There's all these things that I can do. Like, for instance, I can come on live with Restream, and I can program a whole bunch of pictures, which is, by the way, what we're going to do for Today in History. We're going to do a Today in History thing. And what we'll do is I'll say, hey, and we're talking about Boston, and I'll click error or whatever the shortcut I choose, and it'll show the Boston album either beside me or filling up the entire, and then we can do that kind of stuff. But I have to learn how to do that.
I'm going to jump in and say, okay, come on, click like
the video.
Like the video, please. Christopher, hey, good evening from Delaware. Greg, hey guys, happy Friday. Guy says, I'm here still in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, cool.
Noah says, hey, John Shannon, how are you? Doing well?
That's our outside, by the way. We thought because it's we're getting close to the longest day of the year.
So it stays lighter out. Usually we kind of close down the blinds.
And so we thought I looked like a bag of potatoes because when did I wake up, honey?
Went for a little nap tonight, and I don't know how.
I'm napping more.
There's no way I could take a nap at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night and expect to actually sleep the night. But for some reason, you have no problem sleeping.
I don't know. I can do it.
Whatsoever.
Maybe it has something to do with the scotch.
John says hi from Connecticut.
I can use it for this now. Something to do with the scotch.
Douglas says, love the nightly live streams, John. Keep them coming.
Thank you.
Look forward to your Mark Farner.
Yeah.
Rick says, going to see Loggins and Messina next month at the Hollywood Bowl. Got terrace seats. Is anybody else in the chat going to see them? Randy says, hey, John, greetings from St. John's, The Rock. Rick says, greetings from Ohio. Slam that like button, folks. Thank you.
I used to work for Newcap, and I think we might have had this conversation before, who were Newcap Broadcasting, who were bought by Stingray. I used to run a station for them in Calgary while I was working for Chum in Vancouver. That would never happen now, and I keep saying the same story, but you're not going to work for you're not going to run a radio station for one company and then be the evening guy. I've been there since 1990, but because I've been there from 1990, they trusted me. So I ran a station for an opposing company, and it all went well, and it was great. I made 6 figures. Everything was great, but I was working really hard, and That's when we bought our second house. That house that's on the wall. We don't have a house on the wall. We have a picture. Her coworker had this beautiful drawn picture for our last house, so we wouldn't forget it.
Fraser says, pretty please, everyone like the video. It takes a second. David says, John, Shannon, hello. I hope all is well. I say have cigar, brew, and broom will travel. You both are awesome. Thanks, David.
So Shannon was at we were giving blood today. We were getting the doctor. We were not giving blood. We had our blood test today and stuff, and so I know you're not going to mention that, but I want to mention it. So it's really cute. There's this beautiful Filipino lady was giving her blood, and she was humming, and she could sing so well. She had such a great voice, but she was singing so low, and she was about maybe twice the distance between me and Shannon. I'm going, she's not even paying attention to me. There's no one else in the waiting room. Everything's wide open here where they give the blood and where you wait. And I'm going, I don't know if she realizes that I can tell she can sing, but she's singing so quietly. And I wanted to ask her. But anyway, you ended up having her, and I ended up having someone else. But the woman, how did it come up about your age?
Oh, we were just talking about having blood work, and of course, as you get older, you want to check in more often. And
right.
You know, I sort of had a few issues that sort of started in my 40s, and she's like, "What?" And I went, "Yeah, you know." And she said, "Well, like, how old are you?" I said, "Well, I'm 51." And she said, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were like 25." So I just said, "Thank you so much."
Yeah.
Made my day. So it was. She was very kind, and actually, the needle didn't hurt at all.
They were good.
They were excellent.
I had the other lady who was quite young as well, and she, you know, do you ever look at? I don't look at it when they're doing the blood thing. I always look the other way. I always ask for the left hand because I'm right-handed, and because you've had some bloodsuckers on there from some bad people. Everyone's had those.
Melody says, I'm napping more too, LOL. Brandon, hey Brandon, good morning from Australia. Going to see Steve Hackett this Wednesday.
Hey.
We'll be attending his meet and greet.
Tell him John Beaudin from Rock History Music says hi. He's got to remember me because he always says, John, you're looking well.
Karen says, hey, hello from hotter than heck, Oklahoma. Hi,
Karen.
Wow,
yeah.
Rick, hi guys. John, are you still wanting to put up your David Page interview until August? Just wanted to ask because I saw somebody else interview him and post it.
I know. There's two that have been posted. There's one. Is it the one you're talking about where you don't see David, but basically the album cover is on there? I saw that today, and I'm going, Steve specifically, because I have the person who posted it today has, I think, 43 subscribers, so it might not be the biggest thing. And I mean, no disrespect. Once upon a time, I had 43 subscribers, so. Maybe he doesn't care, but I just interviewed Joe, and Joe talks about the album a lot. I think there's 24 clips in the Joe interview. We always make sure that each individual clip is about at least 5 minutes, short attention spans. But remember, when we post the first clip, we also post the entire interview, with the exception of, there are exceptions because the Patreon account will have things that no one else can see. And we're building on that right now. Plus interviews that no one else sees, entire interviews. On the Patreon account, where again, I hate to say it, listen, it's not like we don't need the money. We need the money because we want to advertise and stuff like that, but we want to make it right. And it took me a long time to want to ask for cash for Patreon. I thought, I don't feel comfortable doing that, but yeah, we have to do it.
Village Advisory, O'Leary says, good Saturday morning from Melbourne, Australia.
Hey.
Midwinter.
God, yeah.
ZEB says, have you heard the faulty start of Yes Live 2022 Siberian?
Katru.
Yes, Steve Howe.
Katru, as they call it.
Steve Howe is getting old.
Oh, I didn't hear that. No, I love Siberian Katru. God, I love that song.
Hey, Gennaro, nice to join us. Greetings from the home of Gino Vanelli. Hit the like button. Thank you. Dave,
we met Gino backstage. He was so nice to us.
He was so sweet.
Yeah.
And he actually had on still the white T-shirt, the acid wash jeans, and it looked like they were like some white kids runner. Like he brought me right back to the day.
Gino Vanelli has not aged. Gino Vanelli is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and I've got to get Gino Vanelli an interview. We've got an interview, but it's that that pile of interviews that my friend Steve Burgess gave me that we haven't been able to tackle yet. So.
David says, hi, John. I forgot one last night. Brothers Johnson, Strawberry Letter 22.
Oh, I love that.
glad to see both of you on.
Remember the I bought the 45. I remember the instrumental break bridge. You know that synth instrumental break in there. It was so great. I'm going, hey, do more of that in the song, but they just did it once. And I haven't heard the album version because I didn't have the album. A friend of mine did. I don't remember if they did it more on there.
Sue says, hi, John and Shannon. Greetings from Virginia. Brandon chimes in. Hey, John, any chance of doing a special on Peter Gabriel's album Secured as it turns 40 this year? It is my favorite of his solo albums.
The only person we have, if I remember correctly, is Jerry Marotta from that era. I think Larry Fast was on there, if I remember correctly. And let me see. Oh, Tony Levin. I've interviewed Tony Levin. So I could probably get Tony again. It's been so long. I think I've told all of you that I interviewed Tony Levin right after 9/11, or within, to the point where it was brought up by one of us easily. And he said his wife was downtown when that happened. So he was worried about her. I remember that. John Potton.
Hello, John and Shannon. I know it's early, but happy Father's Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your donation, your super chat, John. You're a great supporter, and thank you so much. Very nice.
Frank says, what's cool about these chats is it has a family feel to it.
Oh, that's nice. Wow.
Thank you.
That's really nice. Well, Danica's right over there. We can say hi to Danica for a second.
Danica, just say hi.
Danica, say hi. Hi. Say hi. Hi. Yeah. Yeah. She always says hi.
El Terrifico just got here. What's on tap tonight?
And Wilson. And Wilson's on tap. El Terrifico, are you a male or female? You're a guy, right? Because you sound like a guy. But I'm not saying. It's. I would like burst out laughing. Because we asked for questions, I forget who it was, and he said, can you ask Joseph, Joseph one, can you ask Joseph if he has a 25-year-old wife? She's 51. Just so that people know that I didn't rob the grave. It's just that she doesn't age, which is good. I'm not complaining, but it's a matter of time before, because I'm certainly aging. Someone says, oh, isn't that cute? You brought your dad. You're so sweet. Then I'll give her a big kiss on the lips.
Hike with Mike. Hey, folks. Hey, you got a Florida-type shirt on tonight.
Is it? I've got a lot of bright shirts. It's kind of one of the things that I do. But thank you. I love this. It's very comfortable. I wear a lot of shirts on my videos, but I have to be really transparent that, oh, there's a car outside. I have to be transparent that shirts have bothered me for years. And finally, I'm getting back into wearing shirts because usually I don't wear shirts. I wear them on the videos because they look good on the video. And plus, most of my shirts are long sleeve, and these are short sleeve. We can't see, but short sleeve. There.
Gennaro says Generation Radio is a surprise band consisting of former members of Journey Chicago.
Jason Sheff, yeah.
Yeah, and Rascal Flatts.
Yeah, I reached out to Jason, a mutual friend of ours. Jason gave him permission for me to get his cell phone number, and I reached out to him, but I think Frontiers Records is handling that right now, and hopefully I'll get an interview with Jason.
Hike with Mike says, have you ever interviewed Jimmy Buffett?
No, I never tried. And should I tell him the Jimmy Buffett story?
That always makes me laugh.
Well, she even went on there and read it wrong because she's heard me say it so often. So Kirk Hansen was the announcer. I'll tell you, for people who heard this story, I'm sorry. Kirk Hansen was this guy, used to be the announcer. Old CFUN, and for anyone who knows Vancouver radio, CFUN was a classic station, or the all-time classic station in Vancouver radio history. I had the pleasure of being the last radio announcer on the air before they turned talk. I think I broke the station, I always say. But anyway, so Kirk was on there, and we were starting a station called QM-FM, CHQM, which was a beautiful music station. We bought it in 1991, I think, or 92. 91. And so they picked out the whole staff, and I wanted to do the evening show because back then we had a thing on our license where we had to play instrumental music. We were going to play beautiful music. So I said, hey guys, let's play New Age music because New Age is doing really, really well. At that point, it was switching to smooth jazz, which didn't make me happy, but anyway, it was. Kirk was on the air just before me. It started at 6. I started with smooth jazz and went into New Age as the night went on. So he was always sabotaging his show, and he goes on there and he goes, and he had a really ballsy voice. He had a real radio voice. Good-looking guy. He goes on there, he says, Oh, it's Jimmy Buffet. That's Buffet. And it always does things like, go, why are you doing that? He said, well, I don't really want this job. Why'd you take it? He said, well, I can't be on Seafront anymore, or wherever the situation was. And one day, someone said something about Jimmy, and she read it. She said, Jimmy Buffet. And she caught herself. She went, oh my God. Because we say it too often. Whenever it comes on TV, his name comes up, I'll say, that's Jimmy Buffet. That's Buffet. Oh, God.
Noah says, I saw McCartney's last night show on YouTube, and it was great. Springsteen and
cool.
Bon Jovi appeared.
I have to bring you in here a little bit more. There you go.
Hike with Mike. Yeah, Gino, best hair, chest, and music world.
Oh, my God.
Right?
I remember his special on CBC, and the lights were behind him, and I remember going, they're really accentuating the sexuality of Gino Vanelli, but back then that was his image, and, if he didn't have the great music to back it up, he certainly did. I was just talking to someone the other day, we were talking about Brother to Brother, and I always say the same thing about that album. When you start an album with Alpalooza, oh my God, if you don't know that song, go listen to it. It's the first song on Brother to Brother. It's just kick-ass. Because back in the 70s, remember, everyone started, and still they do, everyone started their albums with these big classic songs of the great, Here We Are.
Craig says, hey, John and Shannon, greetings from Hampton, Georgia.
Hey, nice to have you here.
Randy says, hey, John, the shirt is a real retro job. Can I get a shirt like yours at Value Village? Haha.
Actually, it's brand new, why? Oh, good. Oh, it stopped because our hard drive's full.
Oh.
But we're still on. It's okay.
You were going to say shirt?
No, it wasn't it $6.99 or what was it?
$14.99.
$14.99.
I thought it said H&M.
H&M. Yeah. Yeah, I don't wear, even though they look at that, all my shirts are brand new. They're in the last few years.
Trifico says, I'm all man.
There, I know now. By the way, I will say, and I've said this before, all the shirts that I wear look like curtains from the 1970s. They're all like that. And now that's a fashion, that's a big thing these days.
Okay, they might look like it, but they're not the feel or the heaviness of those 1970 curtains. Because you're bring me back, and that's you're wearing heavy upholstered.
So Shannon was a gorilla mama today. So she says, lay down on the bed. No, it's not what you think. And she starts tweaking my eyebrows, and I'm going, it's like I'm a little baby gorilla.
I'm just manicuring.
Yeah.
Right, making sure the mustache is even.
Any hair in the ears, no one wants to hear that because it's But I mean, we've all been in line at Starbucks or something, and some guy has a lot of hair in his ears. If it doesn't bother him, good on him. It bothers me. I don't care what he does, but it bothers me to have that. I have this thing where I never want to come off like a dirty old man. Unfortunately, my wife isn't aging, so I'm going to come off going, oh, this guy's midlife crisis, and I'm going. I don't want to tell everyone her age. She doesn't care. But, I want to say she's not 25.
Jeff says, hey, John and Shannon. Jeff from Utah. Nice to spend a little bit of Friday night with you.
Jeff, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it,
man. Greg Parker. Asia was original members.
Carl Palmer. Jeff Downs announces 40th anniversary.
Celebration due to kick off in summer 2022.
Oh.
John, have you ever interviewed Kevin?
Oh, Kevin Cronin, our radio speaker. No, I tried. He'd be the guy, because Gary's dead, and Gary wasn't in the band anyway. He'd been out of the band for a long time. A heavy, heavy drinker, and man, he came up with riffs, right? I was talking to Joe, and I was talking to David Page, and we were talking about Luke and how it's almost inhuman. Oh, and I was talking to Fee Waybill, Talk to You Later, and the beginning of She's a Beauty. That's Steve Lukather. That's Luke. Fee Waybill said he just came up with it. We asked him, we kind of want this, and then it was nuts at Lukather. And I've asked Luke, I said, how do you come up with a riff like that, just like that? He said, I don't know, that's just what I do.
Fraser J, you guys should definitely do more videos together if possible. That comment was spot on. A lovely family vibe, and that shout out to your daughter had me in tears. It's what YouTube should be about.
Thank you. Well, last time, I don't know if you remember, the last Friday one we did, we started talking about autism, and I think we'll have one of those where we just, like dealing with autism in the rock and roll world, so that our audience doesn't feel alienated because we're talking about something that's very personal to us, something that we've dealt with for 24 years. And I think we will. I think that's, we'll get our ducks in order of the things that we want to talk about. I mean, I think we really should. And notice we don't put her on screen very often. We don't want to exploit her. We thought of doing an autism channel. There's a lot of really good ones out there. Even though I invite people to do what I do all the time, I always say, hey man, if you need help, if you want to do what I do, I'll help you out. I'll be a guest on your channel. I'll help promote you. And I like that because the more is the better. And the cream always rises anyway. And I'm pretty firmly entrenched in this community. I've worked real hard to do it, and Shannon has helped me a lot. But with the autism thing, I kind of take a different road, and I'm going, there are really good people doing that. And I feel weird. And she said, well, yeah, but why do you do it in rock and roll? I said, well, yeah, I don't know why, because I just feel like I don't think I'm up to it to do it that way. And we looked at it, it's kind of like an arduous task to get on there and start spilling our guts about autism.
But we try to help in other ways too, like other,
families.
Whether there's other family support groups.
She helped a lot of people get funding in Calgary.
How to access, and how to get the resources. Also, we hop on a lot of projects where they're doing, whether it be trial studies,
she's part of a trial study right now.
With epilepsy, whether it be with, so there's a lot of things that we try to be engaged in, although no, we haven't.
Your hair smells really good.
Thanks.
Really good.
Michael Jones says, Asia tour dates yet?
I don't know. I've never even looked at it. Jeff Downs I've never talked to. Carl Palmer I have, as most of you have seen on the channel. He was just tired. People say, well, he seemed pissed off. I don't think he was pissed off as much as he was just tired. He'd just come off the tour. And he was promoting the ELP book, Emerson, Lake and Palmer book, and he was just really tired. I mean, he answered all my questions, and it was an honor to talk to one of the greatest drummers of all time.
David says, happy Friday to you both. Hi, David.
Hi, David.
Rick says, missed your video the other night on Guilty Pleasures. Mine are the one-hit wonder garage rock songs from the 60s. A favorite of mine, Hey Little Girl by the Syndicate of Sound.
Oh, wow. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of those one-hit wonders. Everyone mentioned, I mean, it's almost like the part about talking to you guys, the crowd, is I'll come in with an idea of, I'll say, oh yeah, but I'll completely, that's why I always ask people, do you have questions for this guy or this guy? Because sometimes, and it's not, more times than not, you come up with better questions than I would have come up. And I'm going, a good idea is a good idea no matter where it came from, right? So for years in radio, I would never ask, oh, I'm talking to this person. Do you have any questions for them? I would never do that because it made it seem like I wasn't doing my research. But I'm older now, I'm a research pig, I don't have to prove anything. And I go, why not include the audience in asking questions? Because they want to be included. And that's why I say the name of the person, I try to, who asked the question. So at least the artist can hear your name. And, it's kind of a cool thing.
Maddie K, Appaloosa is still one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. It's crazy song. I'm going to go listen to it after this. You've heard it. I played it 4 years ago. Yeah.
Hike with Mike. For years, I started my classes by playing Gino Vanelli's I Just Want to Stop. The kids really got into it.
Yeah. It's a real smooth LA. I mean, I don't like the term yacht rock, but it is what it is. That's the term. It's a real LA feel kind of song. Mark Jordan was involved in that back then, and so many other people. The list is long. I mean, some of yacht rock, some of that real LA stuff sounds very similar, but there are people that stood out, and all the aforementioned people are people that rose above the crowd.
Wizard One Music, All Missing Persons albums disappointed me.
I've never been a fan. We went to see Terry Bozzio, who was of course in the band, and he's so not characteristic of being in. Did you got a good comment there?
No, I'm just laughing at what someone said after. Sorry.
What is it?
Frank says, "Laugh my butt off. Get a shag rug shirt." We talked about your shirt. Sorry, that's funny.
Makes me sweat. Oh.
Well, that was a good one. So I had to chime in with that one. That was pretty funny. Chris says, would you guys sing a little two-part harmony?
No, you don't want to hear Shannon sing.
No, it's seriously. That's one thing I'm not.
But she's cute because she knows she can't sing. So when she sings, it's actually really cute.
I grew up and I sang in church choirs and school choirs and stuff, and I can't carry.
Boy, were they wrong.
I actually thought.
Listen, you know me. I'm your biggest supporter. Shannon.
I was never a main singer. I think it was more like the harmony parts.
And I was a singer
in the back.
One of the reasons I'm in radio is because this guy. I think I've told you this story 1,000 times. This guy named Rod Butcher came to our school and recorded our choir because I don't know if you guys did this if you grew up in a small town, local radio station come and record you singing Christmas music. They were all kids choirs. So I was in one of the choirs, and my teacher, I think it was Mrs. Flynn that did that. She says, you come in front, because I was a real cute little kid. They used to call me Johnny Forehead. Still Johnny Forehead. Ooh, that's a lot of real estate there. Anyway, so I was there, and all the young girls really liked Rod Butcher. They were really interested. Oh, he's a celebrity, right? So then I talked to him after. He took everything I got to talk to him. I said, oh, what's it take to get into radio? And Rod died in a car accident, but I got to know him as a teenager later on. He remembered our conversation. I couldn't believe he remembered our conversation, but he did. And then at that point, I was hanging out with another local DJ that he worked with. So I went to a barbecue, and I felt like one of their peers. I went, wow, I wasn't. But at 17, it was a cool thing to see him. And then it's in my bio. Rod Butcher's name's in my bio. And one day his daughter got married, and she wrote me a letter. She said, I was Googling my dad, and you're the only thing that came up for my dad. And I just want to say thank you so much for acknowledging my dad to help you get into radio and to So Rod, wherever you are, Rod Butcher, you're the man. Thank you.
Steve says, hello from London, Ontario.
Hey.
Have you ever interviewed State of Shock? I feel like they're very underrated. Thanks.
Never have. There's always, or let's remember, there's more people I haven't interviewed, obviously, than I have interviewed. Sometimes people are just going, what? You've never? Nope. Sometimes I have the interview, like there was, who was the other band? Oh, Strange Advance. I had a chance to interview Strange Advance, but my friend Steve, who gave me all those interviews, had an original members interview of Strange, two main guys, I forget their name. And it's in the closet, and the longer I wait, the worse the quality gets in those interviews, but I haven't been able to use them. Outside of Peter Cetera and Roger Hodgson, I've used Peter Cetera, Steve gave me, and the John Halliwell and Bob of Supertramp. Siebenberg, that's his name.
Gennaro says George Benson is on tour in the UK right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I interviewed George. I got that picture with him. He was so nice. George looks like a brand new car. Like, you don't even know that picture? George looks like a brand new car. He's got such a...
Very well manicured.
Oh, my God. What a beautiful man he is. Nice man. Very kind.
Maddie K says, I'd like to hear Blind Faith do a tour. Whoever's left.
Oh, God. Yeah, ain't going to happen. Trust me, it ain't going to happen.
John says, have you ever interviewed anybody from Tears for Fears?
No, I almost got Roland a few years ago, and now Roland and Kurt are back together, which is great. I tried with the latest album, even though they were talking to people with a lot. You look at it that way, where you go, okay, he's talking to that artist is talking to that person, and they've got 20,000 subscribers. And I'm going, chances are I can get that one. But I asked too late when it came to Tears for Fears and the new album. So they were doing a lot of big TV, a lot bigger than we are.
Hike with Mike. Mrs. Rock History Music is the same age as Mrs. Hike with Mike.
Hey!
DRMWVR. I'm late to the conversation, but I wanted to ask if there's any band or artist whose music you used to love that you can't stand anymore. Thank you.
Wow, that is such a great question.
That's just a
okay. I have to write that down because that's a topic for
yeah.
So my TMZ just came up with
any band or artist whose music you used to love that you can't stand anymore.
I don't know, where am I going to put that? Oh, I'll put it on my signature page. Okay, I have to say this out loud because that's a great one. I'll answer the question in a second. Any bands Any bands that you used to love but can't stand now. And please suggest topics for next week. I'm trying to think if I can't stand now. I wouldn't say I can't stand Kiss. I still put them up, but I would never buy. All I can do is say I wouldn't buy a Kiss album no matter what. Do you have any? I would say like can't stand. Like I used to hate I Love Rock and Roll. Remember I mentioned that one where they looked at one of our consultants for either the station working for me when I was PD or station working for 14C Fund or QM in Vancouver had said that I Love Rock and Roll was one of the number one songs that was hated. Of all the songs that were hated at the time but loved now, I Love Rock and Roll always came up. People always came around to that song, even if they hated it than me. And I have to admit, I can see why that is. Part of their foundation, right? Even though you hated it then, you look back at it in a melancholy kind of like, oh, it's part of me growing up. And so I'm trying to leave it with me. Something else will come up.
Noah says, I have autism as well, so I completely understand. We were just talking about
Yeah. Now and then we'll talk to someone and we understand. We're talking to some kid up the street. And I walked away from that conversation and he was nice, but I could just tell the rhythms of how he was talking and how he was handling himself. And I went, oh, that kid's probably in the spectrum. And you have to be careful with that, obviously. But I had, instead of going, oh, why didn't he answer my question? Or like stuff, you're going, oh, it could just be that. And you never know what's going on with someone, right? Because you can get someone on a bad day and they could act.
And sometimes people just don't want to engage.
Yes.
And you're super friendly.
Yes.
And you're very easy to approach and chat with. And not everybody is that fortunate.
I say hi to everybody. That road out there, whenever someone walks by in this neighborhood, this is the friendliest neighborhood I have ever lived in my entire life. Everyone says hi to you. Everybody. Like, I'm not saying it's weird. Weirdly good, great.
Really good. Sky Theater, hello John and Shannon from New York City.
Hey.
I got to meet James Brown when I was 13 years old in 1975, boarding a plane with my parents from Italy.
Wow.
Such a nice guy, and gave my brother an autograph.
We have a story about James Brown. I forget the author's name. I didn't know him before he wrote a book. And he was putting James Brown up on a hotel because he was doing a show with him. I'll have to dig out that interview because I never used that clip. And a week later, the hotel manager calls up and says, "You're going to handle this bill?" And what's the guy's name? I can forget it. And he said, "What?" He said, "Well, Mr. Brown's still here." And so he drives down there, and James is all smooth and says, "No, I just getting into the vibe of the whole thing." And this gentleman just said, "You gotta leave, man. I can't afford this." And the show was last week. But I touched James Brown's hand. I had a choice between seeing B.B. King and James Brown. And I could only get one night off, and I chose James Brown. And I'm glad I did, because he went through the audience and he shakes hands, and so he shook my hand. James Brown! His MC always said that.
Preezy says, Shannon, I'm going to DM John an important on Instagram for my account, Lover of All Things. Make him get my message. It's very important.
Oh, could, of course. And you can
on Instagram. You
can also email me at look in the about right side of the channels page. There's an about page, and my email address is right there. You can email me. It's just johnbeaudin@icloud.com. So do that instead.
Quarantine Dragon fan Tim John, your stream last night was great. I went back to the stream and listened to some songs I didn't recognize. Every Thursday it should be, what are your guilty pleasures? Songs, albums, artist stream.
It's a good idea, but sometimes when I repeat like part 1, part 2, and then having the same title doesn't work all the time with YouTube. I'm going to start doing I've got Restream. We're actually streaming. That's why the quality is not as good here, because usually I'll do all my streams with my iPhone, right? And the quality on an iPhone, everyone has this great camera on their phones right now. I know I'm overstating the obvious, but we're going to get we bought a new camera for this MacBook, but we're running out of space on it. That's why whenever someone gives us money, we always put it towards computer equipment or else advertising. And right now it's computer equipment because the hard drive's completely full.
Fraser J, this is my point. It's more than just music here and what makes you guys so likable and appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. David Wheelhauer, greetings from...
Where is that? Oh, Boca Raton.
Florida. John and Shannon. Hi, Melody R. I was in the epilepsy meds and autism study with Harvard.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, we're a part of a big study now as far as what did they figure out with Danica?
It actually is. It's the studies are going to be coming out, but they're looking at having a whole new syndrome that Danica is part of. So actually a new disorder. So it's we'll know more coming up.
And they found out that we did not that we that wasn't a thing that was but they said, by the way, you guys did not give her autism. It didn't come from you or didn't come from Shannon. I went, what?
So it's neat. It's sort of really, that a huge study.
We're talking about you.
Huge study has been going on all over the world for about 5 years now. So very interesting stuff. Mark says Lukather is a rock god. The fact that he and the rest of Toto still ain't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame after their cumulative and performances on other rock, pop, R&B, and even country is a crime.
The fact that they say that's a criteria, that's influences other artists, changing the direction of music, making it better, all the generic mother statements you want to give here. They're the quintessential people that should be nominated. So I don't know what's going on.
Hike with Mike Temple Grandin is an amazing person in regards to autism research. Fully agree.
Yeah.
Surfer Boy, hi. Hello from Boston.
Hey. We were going to go to Boston this summer, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen because gas. Well, we're so close to Boston, we would be driving. And we're I think for us it's going to be Nova Scotia and PEI this summer, and then I go to see my mom. I'm going to start going to see my mom on a regular basis starting next week. So.
Clifton says, I love the Cowsills. I love the Flower Girl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tracy, hi. Good evening from Michigan, everyone.
Hello.
Randy Collins, John, do you ever get to know Gabriel Wisdom and Earl Jive from the 70s?
No.
Darren pipes in, I discovered an 80s Canadian new wave synth pop band called Rational Youth. I like the song No More and No Less.
Oh, cool. It's cool.
Preezy said, did you buy the 50th anniversary edition of Madman Across the Water?
No, I haven't. It's a budget thing right now because of advertising, and I have to get a new MacBook. This MacBook is not only the memory full, but it's not being updated anymore. It's not being, what do you call it, serviced by Apple, or they're not, I don't know what the term, my son knows what it is. I didn't think I'd have to buy a new one, but yeah.
Like a flight attendant.
Hey!
Hi, John and Shan. Hope all is good. I know no politics or religion here, but since April, no more need for passengers to wear a mask while flying. On flight from Manila to Toronto, passenger coughed in my face. Now I'm stuck in Toronto hotel. I caught COVID.
Oh my God!
Sorry.
Oh my God!
I know they're really.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
See Shannon has an autoimmune disease. Danica has an autoimmune disease just by the very fact of all her heavy medication. Yeah. And here we are. We're so cautious. When we went to the clinic to a blood test today, they were so cautious, and it was a relief. I went to the Moncton had a big record thing.
And you were so looking forward to going.
Oh.
You were just pumped and had everything.
It was, I'll show you the pictures. It was shoulder to shoulder. It was crazy. And I said, I'm not going in there. I'm sorry. And not one person was wearing a mask. And they're okay to do that.
And you don't have to by any means. So again, it all goes on your own comfort level and what works for you, right?
Yeah.
Gennaro says, please hit the like button.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fred says, I'm not a fan either, but Terry's drums on Metal Hopscotch is amazing.
Hold on. It'll hold on.
You can't really see.
Can you see it? Hold on.
No, you can't really see.
You can't see it. Anyway.
There's a ton of people.
It's crazy. There's so many people in line. Like there were, I looked and I was wearing my mask and I looked around and going, oh my God, I don't see a mask. But then the pictures that were shared later, there were people, maybe 5 people wearing a mask. Yeah, you can't even see it.
Yeah.
It was insane.
But again, it's it's a personal
So we
choice,
know,
up to you.
our stewardess friend. I'm so sorry you caught COVID.
Sorry,
By the
Leadon.
way, how are you feeling? What are your symptoms? Do you have the typical symptoms? I hope you're still on, and thank you for coming on. Yeah, that bothers me because there's still people dying. And listen, I understand everyone's sick. Oh my God, can we all relate? We can completely relate. But we still wear our masks because we have to, because Shannon could die. Danica could die if she gets COVID. And we're not willing to take that chance. And Chase works at Costco, and Chase wears a mask. He's right in the clothing section around a lot of people.
Darren says an ultimate guilty pleasure would be if rock fans started listening to Barbra Streisand.
Oh, that's so true. That is a great example, yes. I love Barbra Streisand. I was saying last night that I had bought her album for You Don't Bring Me Flowers. I brought her album with the version and about his album. And I love them both. I don't listen to Streisand as much, but I listen to Neil. We were just listening to Hot August Night, the beginning of Hot August Night. The best intro for a live album in the history of live albums. Listen to it if you don't know it. Oh my God.
Swede Savage John, you take on bands using backing tracks. Kiss got caught last week.
Yeah, I did a thing on it. Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing, and they need to stop. And it coupled with the fact that Gene Simmons went on and was going on about people who lip sync and they shouldn't do that, and well then why are you guys doing it? What the heck? That's a weird one.
El Terrifico. Did you hear about Tommy Lee only playing 5 songs with Motley Crue the other night and leaving due to broken ribs? The tour is off to a rough start.
Well, TMZ just
and Mick
posted
Mars
something.
was sitting on a stool.
Oh yeah, well he's been frail for years, but TMZ just posted something of him poolside. I just saw the headline like Tommy Lee's poolside or something like that. I don't really gravitate towards that band very much. Like I said, my greatest moment was watching that aerial footage in the beginning of Dr. Feelgood. When I remember thinking that's a pretty good song. That's a rock and roll. Even if you don't like this band, that's a good song.
Gennaro, after listening to your live streams for over 2 months, you're the most relaxed couple on the planet.
Oh wow!
Thanks.
I wonder how relaxed we are when we're not on camera. No, we're not like that. Chase always laughs at us because he says, "Oh my God, you guys fight for 5 minutes. You can't be mad at each other. You hate it."
Okay,
he says, "You guys are codependent."
So what are we doing now? Where are we going? James says, "Good evening, Shannon, John. I hope everyone is doing well." Hi, James.
Hi, James. Thanks for coming on, man.
Preeti says, "I am no longer a Culture Club fan." Because we talked about different groups you like or didn't like.
Yeah, anybody else? We could do that tonight. What bands? We're going to cover it this week as well. What bands did you love before, but you really don't like at all now? I mean, I guess that would also include, would you go see them? But that's a money thing, right? For us, we don't go to concerts because it's just too expensive.
Steve says, if you could go back in time and interview Freddie Mercury, is there a question you would like to ask him?
I'd ask him about his relationship, because you know how everyone lights up when you ask them, how did you guys meet? And sometimes people in this neighborhood have asked, you've already asked me that. I'm going, well, I ask everyone that, so I've forgotten. So please tell me again. And they always light up. And sometimes they still light up even if they're miserable. And it's interesting that it's such an exciting time to meet the person you're going to marry. So they all light up. So why did I mention that? What was the question? Sorry, old age brain.
It was Freddie Mercury.
Oh, Freddie Mercury.
What would
So I would ask him about, I forget the lady's name. The lady, he had a relationship with the lady. She's the blonde who actually is Rami's girlfriend, I think, in real life. So I'd ask, but personal questions sometimes coming out of compassion. You can ask someone a personal question where you're not supposed to ask that question. Like, remember I had told you guys that I interviewed Joyce DeWitt live on the air because we were presenting. She was doing dinner theater in Calgary. My God, she was good. She was amazing. Like on stage, she was just really, really good. And I was told not to ask about John Ritter. But I said, there's no way I'm going to go on here and not ask about John Ritter. He just died a few months before or whatever it was. I forget how long it was. So she told me, don't ask about John Ritter. It'll make her cry. And I'm going, okay. So I forget how I came at it. I've still got the interview. I haven't listened to it since then. But I remember going, how am I going to do this without her looking at me or walking out of the interview? So first I got her trust and we started talking. And I told her the truth. I said, you were always my favorite on that show. I said, I was always rooting for you because who I am in life, I always felt like you were representing people like me, like my type of personality. And so I warmed her up and got into that. So Freddie, I think I would ask about that. Yeah, and growing up, growing up in England, being Indian, part Indian, and all that kind of stuff. Religion. I like talking to people about what they believe. Like I interviewed a guy today. I says, okay, where are we going? I asked him, you've heard me ask that question. And because his lyrics were, I'm going to save that. You don't know who this person is, chances are. He won a Juno Award in Canada. He's got this great band. And he's one of the most brilliant people I've ever interviewed in my life. But anyway, I'll save that for another day. But anyway, there you go. Freddie Mercury. It would be that kind of stuff. Troubles. His brain, how his brain works. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody. Oh my God. Where does that? It's like Leftoverture from Kansas. Let's know, like Carry On Wayward Son. It's like those songs. It's like Stairway to Heaven. It's like going, where did you get that? Like, wow.
Rick says a topic for a live stream next week.
Okay.
Famous last songs. Name your favorite last song on an album.
Wow.
That's a good one, Rick.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go to.
Name your favorite last song on an album.
Name your famous last song on an album. I always talk into my phone. I rarely type. I'm always talking.
Preezy says John to try to answer his emails. He's saying he's been trying to get a hold of you. Frank says Blind Faith was an awesome group. John says, was wondering what your thoughts on Duran Duran.
I was just getting into radio when they broke in North America, and there was a local station that I didn't end up working for. I wanted to work for them, K97, the rock station. I ended up working for the AC station, but that ended up really being very, very good for me. And they played a live concert from Duran Duran, and I couldn't believe how good they were, how tight they were. They were really, really good. And I've still got it on cassette someplace, probably available very easily someplace.
Gerald Lee says, John, do you like Tracy Chapman's music? And if you do, would you interview her? Yes, I like her music.
Yeah.
We actually talked about that, didn't we? About you trying to get an interview? Or
well, did I get was this erased? Oh no.
Sorry. So yes.
Sorry.
I think she's incredibly talented. And we actually were in the car one day and I said, when are you trying to get an interview with her? And you said she's still, I don't even know if she's
still performing, I think. I remember. That's the thing.
That would be great.
We could. There's certain things with the audience of this channel that don't do well. Things that do well are Journey, the Eagles always, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin. There's a handful of bands that no matter what, Fleetwood Mac, of course. I was very disappointed in the Fleetwood Mac story I did. Because usually I'll talk about a band and I'll go, wow, this is big news. This is like a 70,000 hitter. I'll get 70,000 hits on this. Because you have to think that way, because it's a business, right? And I looked at it, I think it said, I don't know, it said 6,000 or something. I'm going, wow. Maybe I came to it too late. I don't know.
John says, you guys have one of the best YouTube channels. John
Thank
Adams,
you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. We work at it. And lately I've been, it's easier for me to go on with the title, do a little research before, and talk to you. And, one of those, speaking of the business side of it, one of those will usually get at least 1,500 hits, right? And I go 1,500 hits doing what I love the best, which is talking to you guys. I'm going, that's kind of what I kind of did this channel, not for that, but I ended up going, this is kind of what I wanted to do. I want to talk to people. I don't like the editing and I hate that stuff, but Chase doesn't, so.
David Norse, your face looks familiar. What's your broadcasting history?
I wasn't on TV. I used to. I started in 1983 at a station called K-Light in Edmonton, but I didn't look like this at all. I mean, I didn't have facial.
Alberta.
Edmonton, Alberta. And then I went to CFRN AM just for a few months. Then I went to CKXM, their sister FM station, and I started then I started syndicating a rock show called the Cross Canada Report across Canada. It was heard on 42, 45 stations across the country. We couldn't get Toronto, so we decided, I don't know why. We couldn't get Toronto because I wasn't experienced enough as a broadcaster. I just got into radio. And then my ego wouldn't let me hire someone else because I thought I can't afford to hire someone to do this, even though we were making money, So it was my fault. So then I started a new age format at CKXM, and that went till 1989, which did so well. It got better ratings than the morning show. So I was going through a divorce. I was getting over 100 calls a night. I was surviving through the vibe of this show. And then CFUN, this classic station in Vancouver, hired me to start a new age format there. But while we were waiting for the station to be built, I was on CFUN, which was this, like I said, this great station. Then I met Shannon in 97. We had an autistic child who was over there. And Shannon says, we have to move because we need to get funding for Danica. She was 3, 4?
She was almost 4. And also the resources were amazing there, more than anything.
So she said, let's go to Calgary because you spent 10 years in Edmonton. And I went, I don't want to go to Calgary. I hate it. I hate Calgary because I lived in Edmonton and everyone in Edmonton hates Calgary. She said, John, I think we're going to Calgary because I looked at it's a better place for this. And so we went to Calgary. I was the afternoon drive show for a station called The Breeze. And then after that, I became the program director of The Breeze in 2 years. And I ran the station for, I think, 2.5 years. 3 years, 2.5 years, I forget. And then I became, our morning man quit. Then I went, I can't afford to hire a morning man. I put myself there. I ended up loving doing mornings and hating it at the same time. And then we changed the station to Cal 103, California 103, just to get buzz from people because people say California station in Calgary, that's ridiculous. We did it because we wanted people to think that to get the buzz. Then we were going to tell them, but we're going to change it to Cal 103, Calgary 103 after that. So then the 5-year contract ran out and I didn't want to continue. They didn't want me to continue. And they gave me a truckload of money. And then I've been at that CKXM station ever since, the whole time. And that's my broadcasting career. And then we had a rock history music internet station on for 3 years. 3 years?
Almost 3.
I think, yeah. But that's it. Mostly Canadian and a few Americans aired my show, The Cross Canada Report. I never understood why, because I remember going, why would they air my show? But they did, because it was all Canadian music. Hold on a second. I don't want to, oh yeah, that's good. Well, I'll just turn it off. I'm going to close the window because Shannon doesn't like people peeking in her house.
Well,
I like the window.
Why? Because when we ever go for walks, it's dark outside. I always like to sort of look in and see in people. So that's probably why I say I don't like people in, because I'm busy looking in their houses.
Yeah, those curtains came with the house. It's something we never would have bought, but I love them because when we're watching a movie,
it's Blackout City.
It's really Blackout City.
Floyd the Barber, happy Friday,
Floyd.
John and Shannon. Melody R says yes. She was told as well that her autistic son wasn't her husband's or from her.
Yeah.
As far as being passed on.
Because it's not your fault, even if it was something in your genetics. I mean, it's kind of like being 50 and having hair or not having hair as a guy. I mean, you didn't do anything to. It's not your fault. It just is what it is, and yeah, that's it.
Andrew Fletcher, what do you think about Kate Bush?
Well, running up that hill, that's pretty good.
I think from Stranger Things, she's came right back out full swing.
As long as you listen to more stuff, because that's not her best song, but it's one of her best songs. And I had the first album, Lionheart and Never Forever were my 2 favorites. And then after that, she got more experimental, and I didn't get into as much. But Cloud Busting, we both love that video with Donald Sutherland so much.
Teddy says, hey, John and family, what do you think of Journey's new music? I'm digging it. God bless.
I haven't heard it. No, I haven't heard it. I'm pretty quick to. I listen to the new Chicago song. I like it. There's our little dog back there. Okay. Rudy. Oops. I'm going. It's backwards now. Oh, he's just. I don't care about you guys. I'm just lying down. You guys are crazy.
Tom said, "Did you guys know Peter Gabriel is coming out with an album after 20 years? Great show. Thank you."
We did a thing on it when the news broke. Within 10 minutes, we did a live feed on it and talked about it. We talked about talking to Jerry Murata and interviewing Tony Levin, and yeah, it was good times.
Preezy says, fun fact, Elton John and Kiki D were not in the studio together when Don't Go Breaking My Heart was recorded.
You know what? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah. I bought the 45. My brother, who was in the cadets or whatever he was in, I forget what it was called, and he got paid. He had a moped. Remember mopeds? So I drove downtown. I bought a Playboy magazine because remember I was a teenager, so I bought a Playboy. And the woman who ran the store, whose son later died from climbing on a tower with speaker wire to write Class of '79 Guy Kelly, she would just, she kind of understood. You're a kid. I'm trying to make a living. You want a Playboy? I'm not going to ask you for ID. So I bought Don't Go Breaking My Heart. I bought a hoagie or something sandwich. I'll never forget. And I bought a Playboy. There you go. I'm fully loaded there just for a good time.
John says, I feel that you... That's a lot of information. I feel that you'd be perfect for an autism channel. You both might have info that others may not know.
I don't know if we have. I don't know if we have the fuel for it. To come up with different. And I don't know if we want to put her on. I mean, we kind of have to put her on. And see, that's her there. Hold on, she's having that. See, we can put her on now and then.
Yeah.
Danica, say hi. Oops. Oh, as long as that's not my hard drive. Hi, Danica. Love you. There you go.
Knox says, I wonder if we could get Mike Rutherford to do a sequel to Small Creeps Day.
Never going to do it because he doesn't like the album. You'd have to like the album, so he's kind of let it go. It's unfortunate. I'm going to have to send feelers out. I do that now and then on Facebook. I'll say, does anybody know the publicist for this person? And it usually works. I know I get lost in it too when I do it. I get lost in, where was I again? Because I have to go to if someone gives us a super chat, I mean, the thing is, you have to get to the super chat first because they paid money, right? And then I go back and I try to find my place. Hi, Shannon. Oh, you're reading it first.
Yeah, Leica says, airline can't pressure us to not wear it, so I would assume a mask. I need this job to support family in Philippines. Good thing I got COVID shots and boosters.
Good.
But still got high fever and spent 3 days in the hospital.
Oh my God. Wow. So you were really feeling it. She's a stewardess friend of ours, follows the channel and is very supportive. And because of the airline she works for, they encourage her not to?
There was pressure.
Okay. So someone coughed in her face and she got COVID. So sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're out of the hospital, though.
Yes.
Wow. Because it's still here. It's just a reminder. I mean, if there's any good side to what you're going through, and I know that you're going through a lot, but it's also a reminder for everyone who might be listening that, it's still here. I know everyone wants to not wear a mask, and I get that. I don't blame you. But because of autoimmune disease in this house, we have to. Even Chase, who's 18 working at Costco, like I said a while ago, I don't know how he really feels about it, but he's not second guessing it. He says, well, I can't bring it into the house. I can't.
Carrie says, hi, John and Shannon from Detroit. Hi.
Thanks, Carrie, for coming on.
Adam Price says Ritter was a legend.
What's that?
Ritter was a legend.
Oh, John Ritter, yeah. He really was.
Gary says, hi, John and Shannon. Glad to see you too. I hope you've had a good weekend. I hope you have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too. I mean, there's always that, when you're working out of your home, when Shannon was selling new homes, she'd come home and work for sometimes 5-6 hours. And it was, it was a lot of work for her to do this and dealing with customers. A lot of them were nice. Some of them not very nice. Entitled people sometimes, but mostly really nice people. So you're going to get that in any job like that. So she comes home and she's working. And then when she came here and I see her, sometimes she'll wear her house coat till like early afternoon. And I encourage her to. I'm going, no.
Hey, back up a second. That doesn't happen very often. the house coat thing. I'm usually pretty much together.
No, but
I
I'm
usually
saying
have an agenda
my
for the
point
day.
is when she does, I feel like I've succeeded because she can at least just not. I mean, listen, I love looking at her in her nice little dresses and her high heels and her business attire. She looked amazing. They used her for the pamphlet for the company, but I like her just relaxing here. It's nice.
We're getting close to 10. I've got a few more here because we've got to sign off. Linda says, hi from Edinburgh, Scotland. I saw Diana Ross tonight in concert in Glasgow. She was fantastic. I've waited 2 years. I was supposed to be 2020. Well worth the wait. Absolute legend.
I wonder if Jerry Brown's still her drummer. I'm friends with Jerry. I saw him in a drumming workshop, and Jerry's getting up there in age, but I wonder if he's still her drummer. Great drummer. Nice guy.
Hike with Mike, topic for next week. What was your wedding song?
Oh,
Hike with Mike, that's a great one.
Oh my God.
Tom has an idea as well. Most overrated bands, most underrated bands.
Okay,
great
good.
show.
Okay.
So wedding song was one. And
what was your wedding song? Most overrated, underrated artist?
Yes.
What were the ones a while ago? Because I think I erased them. That's what I was talking about.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
Okay,
Fraser J, Home of the Brave, got to be in John's top 10 song of an album, if you exclude the seventh one.
Home of the Brave. Well, Home of the Brave was from the seventh one. I love that. I asked Joe Williams this week. I said, "What's the era where you thought you performed the best, or had the best success?" He says, "Well, first, The Lion King, outside of Toto," and then he said, "But with Toto, it was the seventh one." I says, "Everyone wants to hear you say that." He says, "Probably, but that's why I'm saying it because I mean it."
Alex Knight. Hey, Alex. Hi from Boston. Hope your family's doing well. Good to see
Alex.
you. Hi. Leica says, John, I'd love it if you would do a topic on bands with new lead singers. I feel most are just cover bands without former lead singers. Foreigner with Kelly and Journey have done okay. Worst ever was Supertramp.
Bands with new lead singers. Perfect.
And Leica also replacement of Roger Hodgson.
Yeah, well, Roger left. And I've got Roger's information. I've got Rick Davies' information because Ricky and the Rockets just did a show. And so Rick Davies is feeling better, which is good because he had multiple myeloma. And it's a very serious disease, but he's still with us. So it's good. Here, we're losing you on screen.
Oh. I'm trying to see. First albums I bought was the Monkees debut album.
Yeah, we've done that one. What was the first album you ever done? But we'll do that again probably. I mean, someone was mentioning a while ago doing Guilty Pleasures every Thursday. I'll have to look at the numbers because for YouTube, you have to. It's going, if I've done a subject that didn't really connect with you, the audience, then I have to move on.
Adam says, love the Rock History Book podcast.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I don't promote it enough, but it's in the description of every video.
Chase Tower. Hey all. Hi. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks, Chase, for
J. Luther, also supposed to be a Gabriel tour in 23.
Yeah. It'll happen now. I think the cat's out of the bag.
Dave said, hey, John, how about famous bands that you never got into despite the band's worldwide success?
That's so good. Hold on. Don't
Thanks,
say anything.
Dave.
Famous bands you never got into in spite of their success. Wow. Thank you.
Floyd the Barber says, I've always thought McCartney should do a Band on the Run 2 to try to recapture those creative juices.
That was his best album. I mean, I like Back to the Egg. And a lot of people hate London Town. I love London Town. Back to the Egg to me was just, I love just so much going on.
DDC's looking forward to David Page interview. New single is Killer.
David Page is the man. He's like we talked about Neil Diamond, which was great. And he talked about, he was too busy on Beautiful Noise to do anything, but was it Lady O? Was that what the name was? I forget what the name of that song was. But he was only on that song.
B40. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hang on. A great topic would be lesser known songs from bands or artists. Mine is Days Gone Down, Jerry Rafferty.
Lesser known songs from big artists like Days Gone Down, Jerry Rafferty.
Hey, DJH Record Hound. Rock
Hey.
that like button, ladies and gents. Hey, nice to have you here.
We're not favoring people, but it's nice when we have someone who comes on a regular basis. So that's what we kind of get to know you a little bit. And that's going to be our Shannon says on Patreon, when we do Patreon and we do live videos one-on-one, we do Zoom videos with you guys. When we do that, it'll be nice to see the face to the person, right? And you don't even have to show your face. It's up to you if you just want to talk to us directly, but at least we'll hear your voice. You know.
JJD video, Back to the Egg was my favorite. Also, great vocals by Sir Paul.
Yeah. It was just a journey of just so many different little stops. I might listen to that tonight after I listen to Appaloosa by Gina Vanelli. You smell really good.
Thanks.
That's all I have to say. You just smell really good. She always smells good, but you smell extra good tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, everyone.
Always a pleasure.
This was fun.
Yeah. Let's do it again real soon. Like, how about next
Friday? Yeah, that's true.
We should make it a thing.
We kind of did. Anyway, thanks, everybody. Take care of yourself, and thank you, as always, for the support. It means an awful lot. Thanks for the folks who super chatted us. Thanks for the folks who liked us. You know, I don't always say share our live videos, but, you know, when we do interview clips, because live videos are long, please share those, you know, if you can please share those on the, like if we do something on Journey, if you're a member of a Journey site, share it on Journey's site. I can't be the one that shares it, but because that's advertising and I'm promoting my own product. But if someone else does it, that's different. So most people will allow that. So take good care of yourself. Good night, and have a good weekend from John Beaudin and Shannon Edwards.
Bye. Thank you.
See ya.